Get yours, everybody, because we'll continue on with a game called The Devil's Whisper. Where were we? I think we're about to choose something very important. I want to survive. I don't want to die like this. Swim to the man. Actions and consequences, yeah. In the final attempt to fight for my life, I used all my strength to reach out to the mysterious man and take his arm. I drew on every pleasant memory I had to take heart and keep on fighting. I fought hard, doing everything I could. But the closer I got, the farther his arm drifted away from me. Oops. I tried again, and the man moved farther away. Get back here, bastard. Unaffected by the force at which I was being pulled by the water. What happened to your promise of promising me your riches and stuff? The final movement of my body, and the one that would define my future, was to propel myself straight forward. The man's midsection, I thought it's a misdirection, and try to take hold of him. I closed my eyes, stretched out my arms, and clenched them together, only to realize that the man was no longer there. Oh, you bastard. I made a bad choice, and I was suffering the consequences. But there was still time, wasn't there? Was there? I turned with what little energy I had left to look for the stone, and realized it was gone. Even the stone left me? God damn it. One at a time. Felt around to try and find it, but I knew the stone was no longer there. Its distinctive glow was gone. No man and no stone. God, I'm stoned. Oh man. It was then that my body lost all the adrenaline that had been at its peak. My fiery heart began to beat at a slower and slower rate, and I stopped holding my breath, letting the water enter freely through my nostrils. Oh, that sucks. The burning of the water entering my lungs is indescribable. Yeah, I almost drowned. How many times when I was a kid? 3 times. Almost drowned 3 times. The first instance of when I drowned was I was trying to feel where the floor was in some part of the swimming pool, and I realized, oh, fuck, there is no floor. I was luckily rescued by, I don't know, I think I was drowning for 30 seconds and almost died. And then I got rescued by one of them swimmers. Forgot. I think it's a relative or something. Second one, I was being dragged around by a blind girl. She thought she was dragging around somebody she knew, but that wasn't me. I'm like, hell, no, not me. I don't know you, lady. Third one was, what was the third one? Yeah, no, I forgot the third one. But anyway, I'll remember it later or something. Maybe it was too traumatizing. Any pain I had ever felt before was incomparable. This was what I imagined the feeling hellfire scorching my flesh would be. The searing pain devoured my body, burning every remnant of life left inside me. I couldn't resist any longer. I was only left to contemplate the last moments of a life that ended in a very foolish way. How could I have been so irrational as to get myself into this situation? Trying to solve problems where there were none, and ignoring the torments of my daily life. For not accepting that once again the troubling nightmares had returned, and not having the courage to face them. Would it really end like this? All my memories, everything I had lived through. I didn't want it to end now in this way, but everything seemed to indicate that it would. There was no prince to the rescue, no waking up from this nightmare just like every night. This was the cruel and harsh reality, a reality that at first I tried to evade in exchange for a very high price, my own life. Mom, Dad, I love you so much. I'm sorry for not being as brave as I promised I would be. Andrew, don't ever forget about me, please. I was doomed to be swept downstream in this sad, lonely sewer full of dirty water, until the last remnant of energy left my frail body. And then suddenly I'm rescued again. Now loading. Wait, am I actually rescued? What? Oh shit, I'm dead for real? Echoes of the Past, Chapter 2. Uh-oh. What did I do? Am I gonna play as Andrew now? A soothing sound and the fresh scent of the summer breeze overcome my senses. The sun's rays illuminates almost all the space around me. In the distance I could see nothing but sprawling groves and forests, the trees intertwining branches with each other, the roots holding together the earth itself. I inhale deeply, letting the purity of the air cleanse every part of me. If this is what living is, I want to experience this every day of my life. I think this, barely able to formulate sentences and being aware of my mere existence. Find myself sitting on the edge of the porch of a small cottage, letting my bare feet rest on the earth as I soak up some sun and relax. Who's talking here? The familiar sound of a knife chopping on a cutting board, followed by the voice of a middle-aged woman, snaps me back to reality.
Come eat, Connie. The food is almost ready.
Connie, you mean the other redhead? I excitedly hop up from the floor and sprint to the table. I sit down in a small wooded chair and eagerly await the food. The delicious, sweet, and savory smell elicits a sigh as I stare wide-eyed at the meal about to be served. The plate gradually fills by the spoonful, and finally, when it's just over half full, Aunt Mary carefully brings it to the table.
I just chopped up some scallions. I hope you like it, honey.
It's Connie, Auntie. Connie. A semi-transparent stew of earthy tones glistens in front of my eyes, delighting me not only with the fabulous aroma but also with the pleasant sight. I take the first spoonful and savor it slowly. It was definitely an intense flavor but very delicious, and the warmth radiating from the dish to me gives me a certain sense of peacefulness.
Oh, that smile must indicate that you did like it.
No, I'm just being very polite. I flash a genuine grin from ear to ear, showing my teeth and closing my eyes. If I could choose where to spend the rest of eternity, I would definitely choose this place. Just for this moment in time, an innocent mind, warmth, and above all, affection. The affection of a loved one who is no longer with me. What? A distant sound makes me disconnect from this apparent reality. Hey, it's getting darker. Slowly, the vibrant colors of the world begin to fade in. I close my eyes tightly and open them again repeatedly, hoping to hold on to the beauty even for a few more moments. But it is inevitable. I know it's time to return to reality. A thunderous sound brings me back to my present situation. My eyes are still closed, but from the ambient sound and the feeling that the city is already working again, I know it's a new day. New day? I reach out to a small nightstand and make several unsuccessful attempts to turn off the alarm of my phone. After realizing it wouldn't work, I throw off the covers and reluctantly get out of bed. I had a frown on my face and an intense feeling of bitterness. In spite of having dreamed of something so pleasant, I had in me the gloomy feeling of returning to reality. Sad and cruel reality. But pick up my cell phone and look at the time. 8:15 a.m.
What, again?
Oh wait, so Connie's Conrad? Oh, okay. I could have sworn I set the alarm to wake me up at 7 a.m. to get to school on time.
Who cares?
Oh, relatable. I wonder if this will ever end. Ever end you getting late and stuff? There were so many reasons to simply not want to open my eyes, and finally being awake and seeing the intense mess around me didn't exactly raise my spirit any higher. Come to think of it, if anyone heard me, they would surely think I had the typical "I hate everyone and everyone hates me" depressive speech. But it wasn't just that. It wasn't sadness or melancholy, or even emptiness as I've heard countless times. It was hatred. A deep hatred. And the last thing I wanted was for people to feel sorry for me or try to comfort me with some phrase they'd already repeated ad nauseum. Nauseum? Okay. Even Madison, as dense as she can be, uses those stupid phrases she probably got out of the last romance movie that came out in the theater. There has only been one person, maybe two, that really understood my feeling towards the world.
I miss you so much, Auntie.
Oh, so he has that side. And I didn't just miss the love she gave me as a child. I also miss those trips to the countryside, visiting the small town where I spent the summer during my childhood. However, far are those memories from what is now my present. After having woken up and finally regained full consciousness from sleep, I took the backpack with the few books I had inside. Finally, I grabbed my keys and left the apartment. If the sun's rays bothered me in my room, they bothered me immensely on the street. But beyond that consideration, something caught my attention. The day was feeling strange. And not strange as in bad weather or crowded streets. Rather, it seemed as if something was happening somewhere in the world and I was waiting for the moment when it would have an effect on my life. Looking at it that way, it sounds too far-fetched to be an emotion or even a feeling. It was like a sense of deja vu, but not exactly the same feeling. The deja vu? But I couldn't describe it in any other way. I was waiting for something to happen. After a few seconds of reflection, I reached my car. It occurred to me that it would have been a good idea to bring a hat to avoid sunbathing so much. But it was a little late for that. Plus, I wasn't going to go back just for a hat. I could put up with that. How bad can it be to get some extra sun once in a while? What I really wanted to do was to leave now to stop the strange feeling that was sinking in. I got into the car, put the keys in, and accelerated as fast as I could. Maybe getting away from the place would change my mood a little. Don't do that, fellas, that's very bad. Obey traffic laws. The drive to school was short. I was so lost inside myself that I almost ran over one person. Well, another. I also missed a few traffic lights, but that was part of my normal routine, so it goes without saying. Wow, lucky guys still haven't been caught by the police yet. Or are there no security cameras around? But the worst part of it was all the weather and the temperature.
It's getting hotter and hotter in this city every damn day.
You and me both. Where I'm from, there's no such thing as snow, autumn, winter, spring. Nope, it's just hot or not. Rain or sun. That's it. No in between. At least in the car, I was protected from the intense sun. But if it was only spring and the temperature was this high, I didn't want to imagine what it would be like when it was actually summer. Every little thing like this made my day more dreadful with each passing second. What else am I going to do? Neither the stupid traffic, nor the dreadful weather, nor this very weird feeling was going to make me miss getting to school. So I just continued on my journey, praying for something to happen. But no, unfortunately, I arrived safe and sound at my destination. Cool. It took me almost half an hour to find a decent place to park my precious car.
Damn it. Why don't they put a fucking parking lot inside the school?
Because it's a school. An older lady who parked next to me turned to look, startled by my sudden scream.
You lost something?
The lady shook her head in denial and looked away quickly. Turned around and started walking towards the school gates.
With all the stupid money they've invested in the school, and they barely have basic facilities.
I mean, isn't that every other school? Like, they have the things, but they don't have the things that you also need. So it's kind of like, just like every other school, huh? I wasn't complaining for nothing. There was actually a ton of money at stake that had been sunk into the school. It's common knowledge that Claire's parents have invested exorbitant amounts here to make this place better just because their darling daughter was going to study here. Oh my, of all the things I found out when I was Claire's boyfriend, it's a shame that our parents also stopped getting along when we broke up. I remember those outings, the walks on the beach with both families pretending to be happy with each other. Yeesh.
And in the end, we were all part of the same game of hypocrisy.
We were all idiots pretending to be in a role we didn't have. That's why I always mention it. We were all hypocrites. As if deep down Claire's parents really cared about her, or as if deep down my parents cared about me too. And as if deep down that relationship between Claire and I was initiated out of love and not out of convenience for both families. Wow, I'm starting to understand this perspective little by little. As I opened the door to the classroom, the first thing I encountered was the fabulous sight of my current girlfriend, Madison.
You dumbass.
Wait, she just said dumbass? Conrad, for God's sake, look at the time. Wait, no voice? The substitute teacher has been gone for half an hour, and you're just getting here? The second class is about to start. There's one thing Madison has, it's presence and good taste. She stands out among the girls for her strong character and her high initiative to make decisions. And that, among other things, is one of the reasons why I'm with her.
Good morning, my sweetie pie. You are the star of all my mornings, and the reason I wake up every day.
Sure, it's not because you also have to pay tuition and, you need you need the diploma. She's college or something. Wait, is he high school again? I forgot. What is the setting? High school or college? I forget.
Getting up romantic today, I see.
Wait, really? No other voices? None of your business, Andrew.
Oh, but why not? If I already have a brother-in-law, the least I should do is inspect that everything is going well in your relationship.
Huh? Why isn't she talking? Or maybe, wait, let's wait a few seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No voice. Sometimes I wonder why I wasn't an only child.
Hey, but seriously, have you guys seen Amelia?
She got replaced like the thing from Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
You know, after yesterday, I'm a little worried about her.
Yeah, sorry, it was me. I because of my poor decision, she ain't here anymore.
And Amelia's not the type of person who normally misses classes.
Not happening.
Not happening? What are you talking about? No, wrong voice. No, I haven't heard from her at all. I was texting her thousands of times yesterday and she didn't answer a single one. I think she had her cell phone turned off. Hey, you rascal, don't think I don't realize how much you care about her.
I'm just worried about her because she's my friend.
Still no voice. Alright, also, friends talk until the wee hours of the morning and go to breakfast together every day, right?
Of course they do.
Sure they do. Well, I'm going to pretend there's just a friendship there. I repeat, I'm going to pretend. Madison's favorite pastime, annoying Andrew. I guess this is what it must feel like to have a stable relationship with your siblings. Which reminds me of a saying, something like, you're capable of giving your life for your siblings, but you never invite them over for a meal, Lamau. Can't honestly say that I have a beautiful relationship with my siblings, not because we don't wanna, but because circumstances have not allowed it. My sister Sandy died of a very rare disease when she was just 7 years old. I barely have a few memories of her. And my other brother, Robert, lives with my mom after our parents' separation. He's 14, but he's already quite the Casanova heartthrob. That's hereditary, I guess. Humble. Well, at least we know you guys are siblings. The day went by considerably faster. There you go. After boring classes with the substitute teacher who was still teaching us in Mr. Harrison's absence, we got a couple of hours off, time we took advantage of to have breakfast. It wasn't quite the same and not as enjoyable without Claire's jealous quips or Amelia's funny outbursts, but at least we relaxed for a while between the three of us. Perhaps part of the strangeness of the day lay in the fact that Amelia was nowhere to be seen. Madison and Andrew contacted her parents after school was out, already seriously worried, but they said they hadn't seen her arrive the day before. The fact that she hadn't arrived home already spoke volumes in itself. I was a little worried that something had happened to her. Deep down I was worried about Amelia's safety. I didn't want something bad to have happened to her. Amelia is a good person after all, just a little giddy. Okay, I guess that's all the investigation we have for Amelia. After the odyssey that was the day, I was ready to put every problem out of my mind. I got home, threw my backpack on the floor, and plopped down on the couch. I decided it was time to relax. It was the best way to do it. I had some instant soup and turned on the TV to watch a soccer game. I started watching the game with some interest, but as the minutes passed, the less attention I paid to it. There were a lot of things going on in my head, and although I wasn't certain that something bad was happening to me, I felt as if it was. The soup bowl had been half full for 10 minutes, but I was still holding it in my hands, perhaps just to make myself believe that I was eating. I sighed and looked out the window. It was a very nice evening, perfect for hanging out with someone and trying to forget about this feeling for a good while. The sound of the doorbell made me jump with fright, spilling some of the hot soup on my shirt.
Ah! Ouch! Ouch!
That caught me off guard.
Oh, God. Who the fuck could it be at this hour?
I put down the soup bowl and quickly got up. When I opened the bedroom door, my surprise was even greater than when I heard the doorbell. Claire's gentle presence was in front of me. Oh, hi. It translates to oh, hi. What? Couldn't help but be stunned for a few seconds. I even felt unable to close my mouth from sheer surprise.
Claire, nice to see you.
I'm sorry.
For just showing up like this. Still no, what happened to the voices?
No problem. Is everything all right? Did something happen?
Oh, no. No, everything's fine.
Come on, stop being a woman and just tell me what it is already.
I was just, well, a little nervous, I guess. You know, because of Amelia.
Then talk to Madison or Andrew, whatever.
Oh, yeah. It seems really weird to me, too. Do you want to come in? It might do you some good to have a little chat with someone.
Yes, in fact, that's exactly why I dropped by.
Come in, please. Make yourself at home.
Oh man, this is not gonna end well. Pretty sure. Claire entered my room first with some shyness, looking around at each part of the apartment. Despite that, she finished entering quickly and seemed to have adapted to the environment.
I know, it's very small. But it's what I could get with the money I had left.
You think so?
No, not at all. It just looks very well lived in, I guess.
Inhabited!
Well, no, you said well lived in.
I'm not really sure.
Yeah, did I say something wrong?
Well, it was easier to say it's messy.
I just didn't want to make you feel bad.
You never do that. Come on.
Claire kept looking out the window and getting lost in thought over and over again. Occasionally, we would share a couple of words or glances, but the conversation stayed at that. Even so, it didn't feel uncomfortable at all. In fact, I felt liberated, like a burden was lifted off my shoulders.
Hey, Claire?
Hmm?
Do you think Amelia is missing?
You think so?
No, you said I don't think so. I think she's just too focused on the incident. Not that I'm an expert or anything, but I venture to say she's suffering from an anxiety crisis. Or at least some similar disorder. It's very clear that her behavior does not correspond to someone who is having a good time.
Yeah, there's obviously something wrong with her.
Obviously.
Since the night of the incident, something seemed off about her.
Oh, you mean that time we ran over someone and, they just kind of disappeared? Yeah. You might be right, but I haven't felt entirely comfortable since that day either, to be honest. Isn't that happening to you too?
What do you mean?
I'm not really sure.
I don't know exactly. It's like a presence, like something is constantly haunting us. I don't think that finding that book was a coincidence either. Think about it. Right after we ran over that person...
Claire, we didn't run over anyone!
Yeah, what was that thing? Well, right after we almost ran over a person, we found this strange book. What did Amelia say it was? The Book of Shadows? Oh my god, I missed Corpse Party.
Grimoire, I think.
Right, it doesn't sound like a coincidence to me. I've shied away, okay. I thought I said shield. My brain was processing what kind of word that was. I've shied away from investigating on my own because I don't want to obsess. But Amelia may be right about one thing. We did something very important. Something we're not even aware of. To be honest, I didn't believe much of what Claire was telling me. I honestly believe that all this may have been nothing more than a silly attempt by Amelia to get attention and scare us. And well, Claire is a bit naive and tends to be easily manipulated, so it did seem likely. But I didn't want to say it in such a crude way to Claire, so I thought about formulating what I was going to say better. Save here. Let's see. Let's talk about something else.
Okay, Claire. We'll talk about this later, okay?
Yeah, and let's get back to it maybe after 5 years or whatever.
Why don't we try talking about something else?
Please, Conrad. Don't underestimate me.
Holy shit, she's finally talking.
I know exactly how you feel about me. And I know you think this is nothing but childishness.
Sorry, what was that? I wasn't listening.
But I ask you, if you still have a modicum of consideration after all the time we spent together, not to let what I am telling you fall on deaf ears.
Can you clarify what was the thing that you said again?
Claire, I don't know.
It's okay if you don't believe me. I'm not going to do anything to change your mind.
Wait, what? Where's the voice? God damn it! But could you at least go back to the place where we thought we ran over that person?
What?
Look, I know it may sound a little silly, but I feel like we can find something out. At least some indication of what happened. Even Amelia didn't make it home last night. God forbid that's the case, but what if something did happen to her?
We shouldn't take that responsibility ourselves.
Please, we don't lose anything by investigating a little further. I don't think it's as serious as Amelia said, but something very strange may be going on, and we're not aware of it yet. We started and looked out the window, searching for an appropriate response. I had nothing more to say or argue. All that was left for me to do was to give in to her request. I looked back at Claire and nodded my head.
Okay. I promise I'll go to the site.
Wait, you? What about the others? Really?
But promise me you'll stay out of this. If there really is more to this than Amelia's hallucinations, then you'd better stay out of it.
On my way.
No objections, I promise to. Just seeing Claire's smile was enough to put my soul back into my body. Tried to change the topic of conversation by talking about something radically opposite. Although I didn't expect to get into such a deep conversation, it seems that it ended up getting out of hand.
I missed this, you know?
What the hell? What do you mean, this? You missed this? What? You guys had something before or whatever?
Meaning what?
Just this morning, I was remembering when we used to go on a trip to the beach. You know, both families.
Oh, so Claire was the ex. Okay. Yeah, I always remember that. It lasted so short, but there were very nice days. I would give anything to be 1 second longer in that place.
It's the nostalgia of the past, I guess. Personally, it makes me feel a little better to remember when my parents were together. Remembering how I used to be able to enjoy the day without thinking about it too much.
How did you feel after that?
If I were to tell you, it's just been so strangely complex. After we broke up, nothing was easy. You barely know much about it because we stopped talking at that time, but a lot of things were going on at home. First the yelling, the fights, the insults, and then the divorce. When I found out they were getting divorced, and that was the first time I cried. I had never felt so vulnerable. It doesn't feel like a breakup. It's more like an emptiness, and a feeling that something very big is ending.
What do you mean, huh? I'm pouring my heart out to you, and all you can answer is, Bitch. It makes perfect sense. At the end of the day, what is breaking is the family bond between all of you.
It's not breaking. Rather, it's been broken for a long time.
You just help add to it.
There were so many arguments over the sharing of assets, the houses, the cars, and the money. Dirty money.
Dirty money? Give it to me if you feel it's dirty.
My little brother and I looked like a couple of pieces of furniture that my parents fought over. There's no other way to describe it. We were like objects. One day, I couldn't take it anymore. So, I just took the car my dad gave me and the money I had. And well, it's been a couple of months since then. I am living in this dump where I barely have room to move around.
Okay, but how do you live? Who gives you all the money or allowance or something? Don't talk like that, please. It's never easy to become independent, especially after you've lived with your parents your whole life.
You don't have to pretend that what I've done is a merit. I myself admit that it was a tantrum to get my parents' attention.
Well, at least you're aware.
Maybe disappearing from their lives will bring them back together, I thought. Stupidly.
This is not the time to make you feel bad.
I know you. And I know that deep down behind that grumpy human you appear to be, there is a very noble heart.
Yeah, but I have a girlfriend now, though, so how noble is that?
Nonsense. That heart is long gone. I've already forgotten the last time I was nice to someone for the sake of being nice, and not for the sake of looking good in front of people.
Connie, I still believe you in spite of everything. I know what an amazing human you can be when you put your mind to it.
Connie.
A small giggle when I heard her call me that. Yeah, does it bother you? Yeah, it bothers me when you say nothing. It was a little odd, but I felt it broke the intensity of the conversation somewhat. However, I was partly grateful for it, as it served to alleviate a bit of how sensitive I was about the topic we were touching on.
It brings back so many memories. You're the second person to call me that, you know?
It brings back so many memories for me too. And I have to end it here, fellas, because I have to prepare for work. So this is The Devil's Whisper. Oh yeah, we're getting the vulnerable, what's his name? Conrad part. For to try the game for yourselves, the links are in the description. What happened to the voices? That is all for today. Stay safe and take care of yourselves.